Get me your manager. This was about 10 years ago. I worked at CC's. I always get to work before they open, so I would hang around at Kmart. Now my uniform was a black hat with the name and a tomato on it. Black shirt with a tomato on it, black pants, and black shoes. Kmart's uniform was red button-down shirt and black pants. I was in the electronics, and I heard the unhut. Didn't think it was meant for me. She did it again. I turned around and saw this tall woman with the "do you know who I am" face and Karen haircut. She was Karen before the Karens. She asked me a question about the TVs. I told her I don't work here. She grabbed my arm, but I pulled away. I said, yes, I do work here, but they're letting me wear my CC's uniform because I forgot my Kmart one at home. She walked away saying, you don't need to be a smart ass, and I said, you don't have to be a dumbass.
Fire department and the produce department are now one and the same. For the context, I'm a firefighter paramedic in a small suburb, roughly 7 square miles and 12,000 people. We have a single grocery store in our district, which we visit pretty much every shift to buy ingredients for dinner. Because of that, we are pretty well known in that store and the surrounding community because it's such a small part of town. The story last shift, my crew decides to stop by the grocery store in the afternoon right after we finished up with a call for a vehicle accident. We were still dressed in our turnouts, the bulky yellow gear we wear for fires and rescues. My partner and I leave our jackets in the engine and go inside to buy stuff to make buffalo chicken salad. Check my post history if you want the recipe, it's a good one. While we're grabbing veggies, I hear "excuse me" right behind me. We get a lot of questions from people in general, so I'm pretty used to being stopped in public while on duty. I say, yes ma'am, and turn to find a middle-aged lady standing next to the oranges. Are these the only oranges you have? I'm a bit dumbfounded and reply with, I don't work here, ma'am. Response, which still baffles me, was, are you sure? My partner and I just exchanged confused looks. Though we were in t-shirts and hats with fire department all over them, bright green radios on our waistbands, and wearing baggy yellow pants with reflective striping. Obviously the uniform of one who works in the produce department. She got a bit annoyed at my silence, and held an orange up to my face. Oranges, these, do you have any more, or are these the only ones you have? Still somewhat in disbelief, I answered I work for the fire department. She said nothing, but motioned to my partner, who was dressed exactly as I was and standing right next to me. Excuse me, do you have any more oranges? He snorted down a laugh and told her, yeah, I don't work here either. She threw her hands up in exasperation and walked the other way. We left the produce department to go get chicken and pretty much asked each other what the fuck, only to be approached by her again at the front of the store. Excuse me, when will you have the rotisserie chickens again? Still making an attempt at being polite, I explained, for the 4th time, for anyone keeping score, that we don't work at the grocery store because we are firefighters. She lets out a sigh and snaps. Then you shouldn't be wearing a uniform in public. My bad, I guess.
A former client refused to accept that I was no longer affiliated with my previous company 6 months after I changed jobs. This happened a while back, but I still get a laugh out of this. This is also a bit long. At my first job, which was an online directory and blog, we had a client who was entitled to a free limited-time premium listing. This included a short write-up about her business on our website, which would then be hidden unpublished after her premium listing had expired, if she decided to not avail of the paid premium package. Basically, she was on a free trial. I was on the editorial team and first encountered her when I had to interview her for the write-up. My colleagues had advised me to be careful because she was rather irritable and rude, but I spoke to her in English. English is not the primary language in my country, and she was very nice to me. I wrote the article and everything was fine, until her free premium listing expired. The account manager assigned to her updated her weekly on the status of her account and reminded her that the premium listing would soon expire. She yelled at my colleagues on the phone, saying that a business as large and successful as hers with celebrity clientele should automatically have a premium account whether she paid for it or not. Then she refused to speak to anyone except the general manager or me, an editorial assistant, as our GM was in a meeting outside at the time. the sales manager, account manager, and I took the call over speakerphone in a conference room. As soon as they informed her that I was now in the call, her tone changed and she was suddenly polite. She asked if we could keep the write-up that I worked so hard on published on the site even if she would no longer be on the premium package. He then went on to say that surely someone with my educational background and who went to the same uni as she did would understand. I think this came up while we were making small talk during an event. I told her that it wasn't up to me to make that call as I was an editorial assistant, but that we would be happy to keep the write-up published for another month if she decided to purchase the premium package for the next month. Taking my cue from the sales manager, or who was writing down some responses to help sell her the package, I then said something like that a successful entrepreneur like herself would understand that we needed to provide these premium services from that point for those with paid subscriptions. Finally, she agreed to pay for the next month to keep her account's premium status. I resigned shortly after that for unrelated reasons. 2 to 3 months later, I received a call from this client. Side note, we were not issued company phones at my first job, so I used my personal number to contact clients for phone interviews and the company would just reimburse. I was surprised because I contacted all the clients I had worked with before I left to inform them about who would be handling their editorial needs upon my departure. He was complaining that her write-up had been taken down and that I had to do something about it. I informed her that I was no longer affiliated with the company, but that I would pass her concern along to my former colleagues. The call ended and I contacted my former colleague to let her know about that client's concern. Guess what? The client had not paid for the premium package in the last 2 months. Several months go by and one Sunday, I am awakened at 4 a.m. by my phone ringing. It is her again, and this time she isn't at all polite. She was yelling at me, saying I didn't republish her article, and that her listing had gone back to basic, i.e. free, status. She said that the company should be grateful to have her listed because she had celebrity clientele, and that she was a celebrity in the industry in her own right. She was infamous, not famous. I was done with her by now, so I repeated that I didn't work there anymore, and if she wanted a premium account, she should pay for it like everyone else. Then I said that if she contacted me again, I would sue her for harassment. And then I hung up. It was an empty threat, but she never contacted me again. Years later, I found out that she had been blacklisted because she never paid for a year's worth of the premium listing.
Odd how the tables have turned in this restaurant. I used to work at a fast food place, similar to Chipotle but not Chipotle. There was one regular customer, we'll call her Karen. Karen and her family always ate in the restaurant, made a huge mess, would even say to her kids, "Don't worry, they get paid to clean your mess." Whenever she was done eating, she would make a fake complaint just to get free food. The franchise owner of this store just didn't want trouble, so he always refunded her. I quit this store about 1.5 years ago. The other day I had her as a customer. Some of the people who I worked with still work there. As I sat down to eat, Karen walked in and I sighed. As always, she brought her family. However, today was different. Today they were out of a particular sauce that happened to be Karen's favorite. Karen, of course, got mad. The owner wasn't in today, BTW. I don't exactly remember word for word the conversation, so I am paraphrasing here. "Karen, this is an outrage. How do you not have my favorite sauce? Get me your manager." "Manager, we apologize that we ran out. We will have more tomorrow when our truck order comes in." "Karen, but I'm here now. This is why you guys suck. The food is terrible." "Well, Karen, why do you come here then?" Karen looks at manager. "Are you gonna let him talk to me like that? Fire your employee." Me smiling. "I don't work here anymore, Karen. I quit 1.5 years ago. I'm a customer today, and I'm going to say something that everyone here has wanted to tell you forever. Fuck you, Karen. You cause everyone here more stress than any other customer that walks in the door. Fuck you." At this point, Karen has a shocked look on her face, and her family leave. All the staff laugh and thank me. Hopefully, she'll never walk through that door again. Now I know it's immature, but I know what it's like being on the other side of the counter dealing with shitty customers like her.
Check out my other great videos.